Hi, welcome to Budget MTG Decks. Because the alarming amount of questions were received, we felt it necessary to gather the whole Budget MTG Decks global crew here. As you can see, we've got people from Osaka, Milwaukee, Waras, everybody's here. So without further ado, let's get started answering some of your frequently asked questions. The first question we get asked all the time is, are you going to be providing us with non-budget upgrades for your commander decks? The answer is a little bit complicated. You see, it all started in the 1800s with a conquistador named of Pablo Francisco de Escobar, who...
Still filming. Just answer the question.
Why do I have to answer the question? Well, the answer is basically no. Why? Because with so many cards in the 99 deck, it gets very complicated to look for non-budget upgrades for each one of those decks. On top of that, we try and build the decks very synergistically, which means all the budget decks work very well together. So this doesn't necessarily mean that adding in a non-budget card will make the deck any better. To give you guys a little bit of hope, we have started providing you guys with some non-budget upgrades to some of the newer decks via Twitter. So follow us via Twitter or Facebook, because we'll be providing some of the newer decks with some non-budget upgrades there. And of course, working on the new website, which will also be providing with some non-budget upgrades. But basically, in the videos itself, we're not going to be doing that. Another question we get asked all the time is, are you going to be building budget standard decks? Well, unfortunately, not in the foreseeable future. Why? Because we want the channel to have a kind of timeless element to it. We want the decks that we build to be just as relevant now as they will be in a couple of years. The problem with standard is, of course, it rotates out, which means at a certain point, we can have the video, we can have the deck, but it will no longer have standard legal cards in it. So that's why we'd rather focus on eternal formats such as EDH, Commander, Modern, and we like to talk about Limited as well. Another question we get a lot is, what is your least favorite deck to play? And what is your least favorite deck to play against? Well, usually my least favorite deck to play is whatever deck we just built, because we just tested the crap out of it, which means we've been playing with it day and night, and usually by the time that we film it, we're usually sick of it. So that's usually the deck that we like to play with the least. But if I look over the course of all the decks, I think Chromat is my least favorite to play with and against. The reason why is because Chromat is a multiple choice deck, which means that every card has 3 or more options, which is of course the point of the deck. But that also means that when you have your opening hand and later on in the game, you've got so many cards that have so many different options, you're constantly looking at it and seeing, what do I want to play right now? And you got to overanalyze all the different variety of options that you have, which can be exhausting at some point when you just want a synergistic straight up deck which is clear in what you want to play. I prefer it if it's a little bit more clear. That's why Chromat is kind of a hassle to play, because you have so many options. Also, it's not a lot of fun to play against for me, because I notice that whoever's playing Chromat always seems to have the perfect solution to everything every single time we play, which I also don't like, because I like to be able to blow somebody out sometimes. So I guess that's the answer. Another question we get quite often is, can we give you guys a suggestion for a deck text or commander deck? The answer is yes, of course, please do. We love receiving suggestions from you guys, and we take them very seriously as well. We actually have a to-do list where we note all the suggestions from you guys, and then we have discussions. We come together and we talk about what deck would be best to do next. We actually do multiple at the same time. So if yours is not coming up right now, don't worry, it's on the list, and we will be doing it in the near future. The next question is, why are you guys so stupid? Okay, that's not a real question. Lisa, was that yours? Next question is, why didn't you guys include Soul Ring or Command Tower? Those cards would be great in this EDH deck. Well, usually the reason why we don't include those cards is because they're over $1 in price. And remember, all the cards in the 99 have to be under $1 in price. So that's usually why we don't include them. Could be an exception. Sometimes it could be that there's a card which is under $1 in price, we didn't include it. That could be because of either 2 reasons. One, because the price has dropped in the meantime. There's probably a reprinting or something like that, so now it is under $1, but too late, you know, we already did the deck tech. Or it could be that we knew that the card was under $1, and it is a good card, but it just wasn't synergistic enough to fit in with this deck. You gotta say action, otherwise I don't want to know.
I'm waiting for you.
Always just say action, otherwise I don't know.
Go ahead.
Okay? Just say action. Why does it kill you to say action? Okay. Next up is, where's the bald guy? We want more of the bald guy. First of all, his name is Ruud. Second of all, he's a busy guy, and I gotta share his time with his wife, so he can only really help out with the EDH decks. Are you filming?
Yeah.
Yeah, you could be a little more grateful.
I'm not grateful. This job sucks.
It's not a job because I don't pay you, okay? Another question we get asked is, are you going to build more dual decks? Now, we just built the 2-color Ravnica Guilds dual decks. That's 2 colors each. Those are quite popular, so we're probably thinking about doing either now mono-colored dual decks or tri-colored dual decks. We're going to see which one of those we're going to be doing in the near future. The next question is, I know you guys are a budget channel, but why is your equipment so crappy? Well, actually, I do upgrade my equipment every now and then, but disposable income only goes so far, so I have to try and limit how often I'm able to replace the equipment. Considering that, I've been thinking about starting a Patreon page so that you guys can help out if you want. That'll make sure that I can make more videos and get better equipment, lighting, cameras, microphones, all that kind of cool stuff. And on top of that, I'm also looking into maybe getting some sponsorship for the channel to make sure that we can get some extra cash that way so we can upgrade the whole process. Well, those are all the frequently asked questions we've got for you today. Coming at you from Paris, France, I'm David, and this was Budget MTG Decks. Did you get all that?